I wasn't planning on making a video like this. Am I absolutely dumbfounded by this patch? Yes, I am. Because the changes are brain dead, because the reasoning is brain dead. Like buffing Slugshot, which makes Ashe kind of fucking broken, because Ashe would be spamming out backlines on the objective to let her more effectively trade blows, with the best card on the character being 50% lifesteal. Like, okay, sure. And then there's buffing Ripe and Gourd. And you know what, let's just read this verbatim. Supports bring a lot to the table during a match. Mixing sustain with damage to uniquely alter the trajectory of a match. We felt that Ripe and Gourd's penalty was too harsh in the current era of Paladins, and as such we've reduced the penalty to bring Maldamba more in line with newer supports and their impact during a fight. Need I remind you, devs, that keywords exist and y'all parade as a good thing because they force players to choose between sustain or damage? Y'all viewed supports who enabled a team with decent damage, okay sustain, and good util as problematic for no reason because y'all were trying to exercise a meta ghost, which was long gone due to individual character nerfs. Y'all want characters who mix sustain and damage to choose between one and the other. Y'all said so yourselves, so why the fuck is Gourd, the talent that's only viable when you do the dumbest strat in the game, being buffed to have increased damage? Like, there's no way y'all don't realize how contradictory y'all's balance views are. They are either stupid, have no reason, or go against health stances. And it just keeps getting worse. And when we continue to look at the Maeve changes, because they are just... fuck me, these are stupid. However, before we get into talking about that, I'd like to say fuck you to Cryptic, as you have banned me in the game feedback channel on the Discord, so I have to make a video to get this point across. And even took shit to Twitter and blocked me there because you have a personal problem with me. Now, I have no idea if this blog on Twitter was done farther in the past in correlation to a post that I retweeted and made a dumbass thread with, but I only realized it when my good friend XSTB said you put out a thread as to why Maeve was nerfed. So if I'm wrong about when this block was made, I apologize, but not because I said fuck you. Fuck you. I still hate you for blocking my ability to give feedback about this dogshit game. I'll admit, spamming why NERF Maeve was stupid and unnecessary, but past that, it's unjust. Oh, and also, fuck you, Strixus.
Hiko Yume, you can provide feedback in a non-toxic and more reasonable manner than just being aggressive and typing in all caps. Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
I'm going to have to do more than type in all caps to get my point across. But if I get to the point where you think I'm being toxic for toxicity's sake, then whatever. I don't give a damn about this point. Anyways, Maeve. We nerfed Cat Burglar for non-reasons. First off, don't give a damn if you devs felt like Cat Burglar of all things was a little too generous. I think it's a little too generous that y'all gave Furia a machine gun, Ying true healing, Damba concept buffs, Io a talent base kit, and Lilith an even better talent. Considering y'all do that, and I know damn well none of y'all play or are good enough at the game to have an understanding of Maeve as a character, I don't give a shit on y'all's thoughts about Cat Burglar, especially shit like its duration. Why in the fuck would you ever remove quality of life shit on Maeve? It's not like the damage amp is the entire duration like Over the Moon, it's 2 sets of daggers. Sometimes you need to wait before peeking shit, it's not a hard concept. So get out of here with this bullshit of encouraging more aggression. Cat Burglar gives you a stronger primary for 2 shots after using the ability that makes you run fast. In all of the infinite universes of infinite possibilities, not in a single one would you not be fucking aggressive or need to encourage more aggression with fucking Cat Burglar. Just shut the fuck up. These nerfs here are unjust because a 20 damage difference between now and the good days on each dagger is too small to be considered a generous difference between the two. It's a stupid number change for no fucking reason that kills Maeve as a duelist, and not at the level of play y'all think it does. Because these aren't reasons, let's look at what Cryptic had to say about this. So first off, and this is the point I really want to drive home, because of the comparison I'm going to make in a bit that shows how bullshit this is, the feedback forum from the Desert Omens patch is the one they have used to dictate balance for the Valor's End patch and all its brilliance, as well as this one. So it really intrigues me that from the same feedback forum, one patch they wanted to buff Eevee with a buff that didn't go through because of player feedback from PTS, but the next patch nerfed Maeve with players having no say in the matter due to there being no PTS. I just find that really funny. Like, I wonder what would have happened if there was a BTS and y'all got the backlash y'all need. Anyways, the devs perceived 2 main reasons as to why Maeve was a much requested character that needed nerfs. And what's really sad about these is that they aren't even wrong observations. First off, any character if put into the free champ pool would be seen more often. That's kind of fucking obvious. You could have put Andro into the free play champ pool and new players would play and see him more often. Is that a reason to change the character? No, it's not. It's just common sense and cause and effect. This shit's learned in 3rd grade. I don't know why y'all don't. I don't know why that's a reason, but whatever. Secondly, less skilled players are going to be worse at the video game. What a crazy observation. I wonder how y'all came to that realization. Maybe because it's spelled out right in this fucking sentence? Yes. Players that cannot keep up against the character that requires mechanical skill, cooldown management, and more attuned game sense are going to struggle. Now, what is this phenomenon? It's not exactly rare, and it's something every fucking player goes through when they pick up a fucking video game of any kind. It's called a goddamn skill issue. Skill issues existing is not a reason to nerf the hard-to-play character that someone is gapping another player's skill on. Skill gaps are due course for less skilled players. Who gives a shit? If you're upset, get good at the video game. Get better than the person you're going against so you can do what you're supposed to and beat them at the video game. Now, here's the real thing. After making this very fucking observations that mean fucking nothing when discussing Maeve, the hard-to-play but rewarding character, especially when it comes to dogshit players not being able to keep up with the character's kit, how, where, and why the fuck does her damage become an issue? Those two attributes are so disconnected because her damage in of itself isn't even all that good and isn't easy to hit. 800 DPS a second isn't exactly a lot compared to all other DPS in most fucking supports. So what exactly are dogshit players complaining about? Them being dogshit, which is a them problem, the character's mobility and kit design being around a flank and or a duelist, or the 800 DPS? As you continue on, y'all as a dev team had to discuss what the fuck players were frustrated about when it came to the character's pain point of her damage being too high. Because here's the real kicker, y'all had to come to the conclusion that the talent that hasn't been touched since OB61, and this is a buff by the way, last time Maeve got nerfed damage was OB64, was the point of contention when it came to Maeve's damage when the talent does only 1040 DPS for 2 seconds. I'd just like to make it clear that's still less DPS than most DPS champs in the game. The reason Maeve's damage is good is because it flows with her cooldowns like Eevee's and has no fall off. That's all compensated for by her daggers being hard to hit projectiles, being rewarded 1040 for hitting 2 shots after using a cooldown to proc a conditional modifier and dealing only slightly that of a normal DPS is perfectly fair and balanced. Because Maeve on her lonesome, she'd still have to hit 3 shots, and or if she missed a dagger, use her pounce to kill you even with the talent. So again, how in the fuck is Maeve's damage too generous and a frustration point for dogshit players who are getting skill gapped by a better player? It's simply because the players themselves are bad at the game. Because it's not like a new player on Lex going against a new player on Maeve is going to lose. Lex is better and outright wins in a 1v1 scenario when it comes to damage, especially when you consider the default talent with this thing as well. So I genuinely don't understand any position where these nerfs are justified and or needed, because they simply aren't. Slap this thought process on any character that has specifically a conditional modifier that increases their in-hand damage with all the same fucking reasons being met, and it makes 0 sense. So to truly drive this point forward, let's do one example as it fits the best. Over the Moon Eevee. Eevee, just like Maeve, is designed around cooldown management and mechanical demand from the player. Bad players will struggle against Eevee because of her mobility and not knowing how to play it around her cooldowns. Now, let me lay my sins out on the table. All of the gameplay you've been watching has been from me playing on a Smurf, if that wasn't caught by anyone, because I truly wanted to know if Cat Burglar was that broken, and also test and prove my theory that bad players are simply bad and can't keep up with hard-hitting squishy characters with damage amps that are just oh so annoying. Because if one thing is too strong, all are too strong. And in my playtime, I came to find that Over the Moon is objectively the better talent than Cat Burglar. It does 1063 shots, and you aren't limited to 2. No, you can have 3 shots. You have a full cooldown reset on the ability that gives the damage amp, when Maeve has nothing of the sort. And wouldn't you know it, new players couldn't even fucking look at me because their sensitivity was too low. If Eevee was put into the free-to-play roster, the base talent is Over the Moon, so it'd be the one picked. And even forget her being put in the free-to-play roster, it took me 2 games outside of the 5 bot matches you have to play to be able to purchase Eevee as a character, so it's not as if she's not something impossible to see as a new or less skilled player. Would we nerf Over the Moon if people complained about it enough? Might I add that y'all wanted to buff Eevee's HP to be the same base as Maeve's, which would make this talent much more viable? How come y'all wanted to buff Eevee when she has the same on paper, better in practice talent than Maeve, yet nerf Maeve the next patch based on the same fucking data from the patch y'all wanted to buff Eevee? Now to pile on another question, because people for some reason, including you devs, think damage amps are too strong and or annoying for players, then where are the obviously much needed nerfs to Over the Moon, Catalyst nerfs, Pluck nerfs, Ensnare nerfs, Yomi nerfs, Veracity nerfs, Blast Flower nerfs, Precision nerfs, Chain Reaction nerfs, Steady Aim nerfs, Fusillade nerfs, and does Surgery count? Why not just remove keywords? No, like seriously, where are they if the problem is the damage that the characters do because of conditional modifiers? None of these characters are hard to acquire, might I add. They are all pretty cheap and easy to get. Could any one of these non-problems... Shit, wait, I say that when I threw fucking keywords in there. Forgive me. No, those are a problem. Remove them. Anyways, could they get nerfed or removed if enough players threw a fit about them because of their damage, ignoring the fact that they can't counterplay a character? Like, how? Will a 20 damage nerf on each dagger change the stance of bad players saying Maeve is OP damage-wise, when the reason they think so has nothing to do with the damage itself? And that's where this fucking point comes in. This does nothing to the opinions or experience of dogshit players when it comes to fighting specifically Cat Burglar Maeve. Because again, they will struggle against Maeve due to a lack of skill because of her kit, not her damage. This only affects people who you say it won't, that being a great Maeve. Now let's go ahead and ask the question. What did 20 per shot do? What was its purpose? Because wouldn't it just make sense to have everything rounded to a perfectly even number such as 1000? Well, actually, you see this sort of thing a lot in Paladins when it comes to numbers balance if you take the time to do so. See, Maeve's daggers did 120 extra damage to keep up with sustain, be it active HP with things like elf cards and DR, and or self-sustain. Paladins isn't just base stats, it's built in balance around these things, so that's where shit like Cat Burglar comes in. Besides its perfectly fine and balanced purpose of being there to open engages with the advantage, it let Maeve keep up or reduce the effectiveness of these things without outright denying them. It's so Maeve, the duelist flank, can effectively duel other champs that have these things. For instance, Eevee. Eevee has Flicker, that of which will heal her for 250 each blink. Maeve's daggers do 240 damage, but because of Cauterize, completely counters said healing Eevee would gain. Now, keep in mind, Eevee has a Cot Cleanse and has a Wormhole, so most of the time this 240 extra damage could be mitigated if played correctly, which makes this part fair. With Maeve now doing only 100 extra damage, every fucking matchup which is made fair because of Cat Burglar's existence is harder. Not just the Eevee matchup, which I could autistically keep explaining, but literally every fucking matchup in the game. And this matters, because Maeve is played because of how she can engage in matchups. She's a fucking duelist. She needs to be able to. It's what's important at higher levels of play, which I'll say this won't affect. This Octavia clip, for example, if this player wasn't dogshit, I would have died because I had to shoot her one extra time. If my daggers did 20 extra damage, she dies right here. This Grok. If my daggers did 20 extra damage, he dies here. I could go through all my footage and probably find even more examples of people living shit that they before wouldn't. But the point itself is what matters. Saying that this 20 damage nerf won't affect anything for a great Maeve, but will somehow affect the opinions of dogshit players who think Maeve does too much damage is fucking brain dead. In reality, it's the other way around. Dogshit players who won't be hitting me and or using shit that directly counters me won't give a shit. Maeve will still be doing too much damage to them because there is little difference in their eyes between 1000 and 1040. However, this directly affects the one thing Maeve is meant to be able to do against actual competent players, because now matchups, which this talent is balanced around to make them fair for the Maeve, are all now harder. You already had to fucking put everything you had into these fights against competent players, but now you have to put everything you have and hope the other person is incompetent. So, everything y'all said is wrong. Once again, a change was made by you devs that has no fucking reason and does the opposite of what y'all say it will. Like, what in the fuck are y'all doing? You can't fix stupid. If dogshit players are too stupid to deal with a Maeve, you don't nerf or change anything about Maeve, and you let them know that they need to get good. All you've done is nerf Maeve for the players where 20 extra damage actually matters. And again, either all damage amps are okay or none are okay. So either nerf Over the Moon as it's the better talent and all other damage amps because they're annoying, and new players can't deal with them or revert these changes. And I mean revert both the damage amp and the duration, because neither have any reason to exist. And don't try to do some dumb shit either. I better not read next patch some dumb shit like, after examining the recent Maeve changes, Cat Burglar is no longer performing to our expectations. However, we want to make sure less skilled players aren't as frustrated over the character due to her having 2 jumps and mobility. Considering this, we have decided to increase her base damage by reducing the talented dagger's effectiveness. With a more effective dagger, we're removing the minimum duration on her ult to compensate. Because I wouldn't hold this shit above y'all at this point. Don't buff her base dagger. Don't buff some Kara because she already has fucking DR out the ass. Revert these fucking changes, because the changes are the reason there's a fucking problem to begin with. Stop sidestepping shit that y'all caused in the first place. Just fucking undo the bullshit y'all brought to this dying game. That's what people want, not y'all trying to make y'all's dumb shit work. Fuck you devs for nerfing a character for non-reasons, and if a single dev sees this video, don't even attempt to say it's non-constructive and just toxic. Because I've deconstructed y'all's arguments in a tone of voice that's just irritated, right? I think that's the best way to describe it. I'm not yelling or just being stupid like I was with my Caspian video. And I could have been, but I'm not in the mood to do so. I deconstructed all y'all's arguments for why these changes are in y'all's eyes justified. I'm the one that fucking tested and actually played against bad players with new Cat Burglar to see if it fucking did anything to their gameplay. It didn't. You know, y'all could ban me for smurfing too. I really don't give a shit at this point if I get banned from this fucking game. Just undo these Maeve changes. Revert them. Revert the Maeve nerfs. Y'all are stupid. Y'all are clowns. I'm genuinely convinced y'all cannot do y'all's jobs when it comes to game balance. Please, I get y'all are all just dog shit at the game, but don't say like I'm not the best fucking player, and even I can't even play Maeve all that well, but at least I understand why shit works. At least understand that. But y'all don't. Y'all truly don't. Y'all don't play y'all's fucking game. Just stop being fucking stupid. Like, none of these Maeve changes make 0 sense. How stupid do you have to be to not understand the fucking game you're developing? Like, it's just, this balance is stupid. Like, to hell with these Maeve nerfs, you clowns. I'm fully convinced y'all don't play y'all's own fucking video game. Whatever, just thanks everyone for getting me to 100 subs. I put that as a little thing at the end of my fucking ball tech video, so you should totally check that one out. Like, thank y'all for the support on these 2 videos. Just fuck me, it's time for me and y'all to piss off.